Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth in our series of Marine Tech webinars. My name is Chelsea, I work for Plymouth City Council and I'll be your host for the event. Just a reminder that during this webinar you will only hear myself and our presenters speak. You will not be able to see or hear any delegates. After the presentation we will be holding a Q&A session. Please use the Q&A chat bar to ask any questions throughout the presentation. If you see any questions you would also be interested in hearing the answer to, give it a like and this will send it to the top of the pile. Just a reminder, this webinar is being recorded with the intention to be available to others on demand. Enjoy, and I will now hand you over to Lance Chatfield, who is the Academy Manager for Technology, Marine and Renewables at City College, Plymouth.
Okay, thank you, Chelsea, and good morning, everybody. As Chelsea said, my name is Lance Chatfield and I'm Academy Manager at City College Plymouth. I manage everything to do with higher education engineering, so that's everything from level 4 HNC through to level 6 bachelor's degree. Our current programme offer includes electrical electronic engineering, mechanical engineering, marine engineering, naval architecture, marine autonomous vehicles, civil engineering and construction. So quite a wide and varied aspect of engineering. However, alongside of this, I've also recently taken on the role as strategic lead for maritime and construction for City College Plymouth. This will help City College Plymouth develop the strategic direction for the next 10 years. And obviously today I'm going to focus on maritime. Okay. So, today I'm going to cover three different sections. First one being City College Plymouth strategic direction in support of the maritime sector. Second one around progressive qualifications within marine autonomy and the journey from level 5 to level 7, and I'll also cover other progressive qualifications within that. And finally, we're going to have a quick look at higher and degree apprenticeships and how City College Plymouth can support employers across the region. So to start with, why maritime and not marine? Well, let's have a quick look at the official definitions. Marine relates to what's found in the sea, whereas maritime is more connected with the sea, especially in relation to seaborne trade or naval matters. The reason that we're going down the maritime route as a strategic direction is that our current engineering offer is very focused on marine engineering and marine autonomy linked to defence, boat building and refits. However, the college is ideally positioned to support the wider maritime industry, and I will come back to this later in the webinar when I talk about how we're moving forward with our strategic directions. But before I get onto that, I'm going to talk a little bit about our vision. It was recently announced by our Principal and CEO, Jackie Grubb, that City College Plymouth wishes to be the learning destination of choice. Everything that we do will be linked back to this vision, and particularly with the recent events around COVID-19 and of course keeping Plymouth as the Plymouth pound, we hope that the industry and everybody else that will support us to ensure that we are the college of choice for Plymouth. So moving on to our strategic priorities, I'm going to pick three out of a handful that we've created, and I'm going to focus around in particular this one. So priority one is to develop strong links and service level agreements with key partners, which may consist of number of learners, apprentices each year to assist planning, times when information is required to meet budgeting, i.e. further education and higher education applications, and then a commitment to use of shared resources, i.e. facilities and staff. So why this one? Well, basically we will become more integrated with industry to allow us to plan our academic year better. We intend to establish service level agreements with employers large and small. This will not only allow us to improve our quality, but also allow us to bid for funding opportunities and link closely with our new industry partners. But City College Plymouth has had a track record of doing this for quite some time. So why is this a key priority? Basically, because we want to do more. We want to be even closer linked with industry. We want to make sure that the students that come through our doors are prepared for the future workforce. We also want to ensure that we support and work with industry to create better funds and to make sure that we're able to develop innovative products. In the last 18 months alone, City College Plymouth has been successful in bidding for and winning nearly £2.5 million worth of funding linked to three main areas. The first one was linked to the Construction Industry Training Board and their digital fund, where we would develop virtual reality platforms linked to health and safety. Yes, this was linked more to construction. However, what we're now looking at is how we can use this technology to develop similar resources for the maritime sector. The second one is linked to the South West Institute of Technology. This is a much bigger, wider bid, roughly about 27 million coming into the South West, linked across colleges and universities, bringing them closer together and making sure we have collaborative working across academia. For City College Plymouth alone, we were awarded £2 million. Some of this went towards a new high-end digital suite at Kings Road campus. The rest of it will be developed to help develop a Maritime Centre for Excellence at Oceansgate, which is obviously where today's webinar is focused upon. Lastly, just a couple of days ago, it was announced in national press that we were awarded further funds linked to Maritime UK. The Maritime UK announced that we were successful in a technology and innovation bid to support the Department for Transport and improve maritime services and operations. For us, this means that we're going to link it even closer to the marine autonomy programs and help develop innovative power solutions for propulsion linked to marine autonomy, and in particular around hydrogen fuel cells. This comes off the back of our recent projects. Over the last few years, we've developed students' work, so that it's gone from 1 metre powerboat vessels that they've conceptualised, designed, built, programmed, using remote control facilities, to last year producing autonomous vehicles, of which we had 8 vessels produced, 7 of which completed all 3 tasks. And now we're looking at how we can sustain and extend the reach of these vessels so they can run for longer using hydrogen fuel cell technology. Our next 2 priorities are a little bit different. First of which is development of a new maritime academy to ensure it meets the needs of industry. This will require the staff to be flexible and responsive to changing circumstances. So at present, Marine Engineering and Maritime Operations sits within the Technology, Marine and Renewables faculty, as Chelsea alluded to at the end earlier, which covers all aspects of engineering and construction. It is our desire to split this across 3 strategic pathways: maritime and construction, as I've already mentioned, and also a further one linked to manufacturing. This will provide both students and employers with a clear direction and a career pathway, all the way from level 1 through to level 6. This is our intention to make sure that everyone that joins the college has a career identity and can map their career through the college system and also link to industry if they're a part-time student. The idea is that students can come in at level 1 and clearly see where they can reach their full potential, whether that be they drop off at 2, 3, 4, 5, or maybe even 6, and also where they can go on to at further on that, whether that be at level 7 master's degree or above. Priority 3 is the development phase 2 at Oceansgate. This is to provide a high quality maritime centre for excellence with industry links and full utilisation. Oceansgate will not only be used to provide high quality teaching at level 4 and above, it will also be used to integrate technology and industry, allowing organisations to work with our students to develop innovative technologies and ensure that the college site is better utilised. New equipment such as 5-axis CNC milling machine has been specified, along with a wave tunnel and state-of-the-art 3D printer. The idea behind this is to develop a collaborative working environment where employers, whether they've got students with us or not, can come and work with our staff and our students. But alongside of that, to develop an extended use of the building. This means utilising the classrooms for evenings and weekends, linked to maritime. And when I say maritime, the wider sector, whether that be leisure, defence, boat building, whatever it is that you're undertaking. Secondly, it'll also be used to produce research and development. The staff at City College Plymouth are very used to working on the research and development side. However, we just don't do enough of it. So we want to expand on that and work with industry closely to build on our research and development capabilities. We're ideally situated to do this, not only because of location, but also because of the expertise of our staff, who are either still working in industry while teaching or have recently left industry to join academia. Lastly, we want to focus on the future innovation bids. I've already alluded to the ones that we've already been successful with, but what we want to do now is expand on that. And the way to develop future innovation bids is to work between academia and industry to develop these things, and Oceansgate will be ideally situated to produce products that we need to take this forward. Not only have we got high-end classrooms, but we've also got workshops which are specifically focused around electronic engineering, mechanical engineering, marine autonomy. We've also got a high-end composites lab, as well as the high-spec tool space, which I mentioned earlier. And last but not least, and I've already alluded to the fact that we're pushing towards virtual reality, we're going to have a bespoke virtual reality suite in there so we can develop this technology. And hot off the press, this is what Oceansgate is intended to look like. So as you can see from the drawing, we've got high-end spec classrooms in the upstairs space with enough room to sit all our students, but keep them mobile with mobile technology to enable better learning spaces. You can also see the VR suite set up nicely along office spaces and breakout spaces for our students. Meanwhile, downstairs, you can see that we have a technical resource centre, the marine engineering, marine electronics and marine autonomous spaces, alongside our CNC and tooling space and our composites lab. All in all, it's been developed so that we have a flow of students working both upstairs and downstairs, working, like I said, with industry and anyone else that needs to work with us. So the last thing I'm going to talk about today is around progressive qualifications. So we have already level 4 and level 5 qualifications in marine engineering, naval architecture and autonomy. Alongside this, as I've already alluded to, we've got electrical electronic engineering, mechanical engineering, civil engineering, construction. However, we've now got to focus to progress these even further. So for example, a student can come and join us on a HNC in marine engineering. They can develop onto their foundation degree, taking them to level 5. And now we're producing and working with the University of Plymouth to develop a bachelor's degree in marine engineering. This is the same for naval architecture, same route, HNC foundation degree and onto bachelor's degree. The Marine Autonomy programme is a foundation degree, so students can come on level 5 on a part-time or full-time basis. And the idea is they will develop the skills not only to conceptualise, design and work with autonomous systems and boats, taking on modules such as naval architecture, but they'll also learn things around entrepreneurship, management, design, with the intention that they'll eventually progress onto a bachelor's degree in marine autonomy, with the opportunity to step up to an MSc in autonomous systems at the University of Plymouth. So there's a full pathway there for them to move through. Alongside this, we also have programmes in other areas of the college, which can be linked to maritime sector. So for example, in our linked to cybersecurity and data analytics, we also have university of accredited degrees in digital computing, data science and machine learning, 3D virtuality engineering. And then alongside of this, we have standard higher apprenticeships in cybersecurity, as a network engineer, as business analyst and software development. And all of these courses are delivered at our Kings Road campus. Last but not least, we move on to our higher degree apprenticeships. This might be new to some of you, however, it's something that the college has worked with for many, many years. As you're probably aware, most people think of City College Plymouth as a further education college, when in fact it obviously has, as I've alluded to, a higher education department, which is very, very focused on getting students through from their further education pathways into higher education and beyond. So in the last couple of years since I've been in post, my main focus has been to develop higher apprenticeships for the college, and in particular linked to engineering. We've had a framework which we've used over the last few years, but framework's coming to an end at the end of this month. So now we're developing a higher apprenticeship standard, with the first one going live in September, linked to engineer manufacturing technician. This apprenticeship costs the levy payer 21,000, where a non-levy payer only pays 5%, so 1,050. Now, if you're not quite sure how that works, or if you're a levy payer, I can explain a little bit further. So the apprenticeship levy is a UK tax on employers which can be used to fund apprenticeships training. In the current 2018-19 tax year, it's payable by all employers with an annual pay bill of more than 3 million at a rate of 0.5% of their total pay bill. So if you've got a pay bill of over 3 million, then you will be paying the apprenticeship levy, and you can use that levy fund to support your higher apprentices. If you're not a levy payer, then you pay 5% of the fee and get, obviously, for 1,050, you get exactly the same programme. Alongside this one, we're also working closely with our industry partners to develop a maritime specific level 4 higher apprenticeship. And over the last year, I've been working very closely with companies such as Babcock, the MOD, and various other industry partners across the UK to develop a bachelor's degree in naval architecture degree apprenticeship, which you expect to be ready for September 2021. So what do you get in return? Well, apart from obviously the student themselves undertaking a HNC linked to their employment, they also get to take an endpoint assessment, which is linked to their industry work. The organisation and apprenticeship receive in return a dedicated curriculum point of contact who has industry experience, as I alluded to earlier. They obviously gain the recognised HNC as awarded by the University of Plymouth. They get ongoing technical and pastoral support. And what we would like to offer to anybody who's interested, who maybe doesn't even fit into these areas, but would like to develop a higher or degree apprenticeship of their own, is to get in touch, because we would be keen to work with you to develop a trailblazer group and ensure that you get what you need out of it. So that's the end of the actual things that I want to go through as part of this webinar. And as Chelsea alluded to at the beginning, we would like to give you an opportunity for some question and answers. Chelsea, have we got any questions?
Yes, we have. Thank you for that. So the first question we have is, great about the facilities at Oceansgate. If I took free apprenticeship through City College, could they spend time at this facility but be working on my prototypes throughout the course?
Simple answer to that is yes, definitely. I mean, we would encourage the students to obviously utilise the facilities that we've got to help develop the prototypes. But whether that was developed within the industry partners facilities or whether that's developed at Oceansgate, that's obviously, we could discuss that and work out how that could work together. I know, for example, before, obviously we're moving to Oceansgate later next year, but before we even get there, we're already working with some industry partners, not in the maritime sector, unfortunately, but in manufacturing. We're actually helping them produce prototypes using our 3D printing technologies. So yeah, that's a definite yes.
Great, thank you for that. Got another question here. Where do naval architect students go after graduating?
There's a various range of industries from large to small. I mean, obviously Babcock have quite a large naval architecture department, so do the MOD. The majority of students who we have on our naval architecture courses, particularly at HNC and foundation degree, are from one of those two employers. However, we do have the odd individuals from smaller companies, whether they're boat builders, designers. There's a lot of obviously maritime industry around the southwest, and in particular around Devon and Cornwall. So there's opportunities there for students who have naval architecture degrees to progress onto employment opportunities within the southwest.
That's great, thank you. Next question. Do you have ties with clean propulsion research with University of Exeter?
We do. The Mari UK bid that I mentioned, which was announced this week by Mari UK, is linked to the University of Exeter. So the work that we'll be doing, we're working closely with them to develop that technology. What we have to produce in the next year is linked to the projects that we've been developing and the ones I talked about, how we progressed from radar control to autonomous. And the autonomous boats that we've developed have all been very battery operated. So now we're looking at hydrogen fuel cell technology. But yeah, that'll be linked to the University of Exeter.
Oh, very exciting. Thanks for answering that one.
Okay.
Next question. I am a non-levy payer, keen to take on a L4 apprentice. In addition to the £1,050 fee, will I need to pay their salary on top for 5 days per week? If so, is there a minimal salary level?
Yes, you will need to pay their wages. Unfortunately, the 1,050 obviously covers the higher apprenticeship program, and like I said, that includes not only their H&C but all the other stuff that goes with it, the portfolio building and everything to get to endpoint assessment. As for minimum wage for apprentices, I'm not quite sure what that is. Depends on what their age is. I mean, you'd have to look at government wage websites and stuff to look at minimum wages for apprenticeships, but I'm not quite sure what that is. I know it depends very much on their wage, salary, their age. Sorry.
Okay. Another question. How far is Oceansgate from the main City College Plymouth campus? Can I walk between the two?
Yes, a simple answer. Yes, it's about. I've not measured it, but I've walked it many times. It's probably about half a mile between the two campus. So yeah, it's definitely walkable. The idea or the proposal, and obviously we're working very closely with Plymouth City Council and City Bus, or our current bus company, who run a circular bus from the city centre to the college and back again, to see if we can extend that so that basically the bus service will come from city centre to City College at Kings Road onto Oceansgate, and then circular back around. Because what we're keen to do is to ensure that students still continue to park either at the Kings Road campus, or they obviously make their way into the city centre and use the bus service to continue that loop. But it's definitely walkable.
Okay, that's great. And that was our last question. So we will bring the Q&As to an end unless anyone has anything else. And thank you for that today, Lance. I can see you're just putting your contact details up now.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to contact either myself or Chelsea following on from this webinar, then my contact details are there. Please drop me an email or visit the college website, and we can obviously discuss everything that we talked about a little bit further, and obviously go from there. But we're happy to work with you all, and thank you for joining us today.
We've just had one last question sneak through. There is a bit of a time lapse between us and the delegate, so we'll just do this last question and then we'll end the webinar.
Okay.
So the question is: will City College Plymouth leverage the text that Smart Sound Proving Ground as part of the autonomy courses? Will there be additional facilities needed in the sound?
The idea is obviously to work very closely with Smart Sound Plymouth, and to use the facilities that they've got and obviously the technology that they've got within the sound. We work very closely with the various partners that sit within that, including Plymouth Marine Laboratories, etc. And yeah, definitely we will, as we develop our technologies further and as we produce more innovative bids and allow us to buy further technology, then we'll inject that into Smart Sound Plymouth and continue to work very closely with those partners. Okay,
that's great. Thank you for answering that one. And that will bring our webinar to a close. Thank you for everyone for attending today.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks. Bye.